They can't sleep, knowing you're 3 moves ahead without saying a word. Never mistake silence for weakness. Smart people don't plan loud. My dear chosen ones, let's cut through the noise. You weren't just underestimated, you were targeted. Not because you're weak, but because you were always the quiet storm no one saw coming. They smiled in your face, plotted in whispers, and prayed your silence meant surrender. But little did they know, you were loading receipts in your silence. Watching, listening, calculating. They thought they were playing chess while you were the board itself. You don't just sit in the room, you change the temperature. You don't talk much because what you carry is too heavy for shallow conversations. They don't get it. And that infuriates them, because now they're the ones looking over their shoulders, wondering if you always knew. And yes, chosen one, you did know, more than they could imagine. That's what burns them. They didn't just misjudge you, they picked the wrong one to play. And now that you've gone quiet, the room's never been louder. Your silence is confrontation. Your knowing, it's a mirror they can't escape. You're not imagining the tension. They feel you before they see you. They talk because they're nervous. They whisper because you walked away, and they still feel exposed. That's not fear of what you said. That's fear of what you never said. You are not just in the room. You are the shift, the glitch in their script, the presence they can't decode. And while they panic about what you know, you're already 10 steps past them, rebuilding in silence. Welcome back, chosen one. It's time they realize you've been quiet, not clueless. And to every chosen one watching this right now, you're not here by accident. The whispers, the stares, the tension in the room when you walk in, it's all connected. People feel that you know more than you say, and that terrifies them. If you've ever felt misunderstood, talked about, or watched like a mystery they can't solve, this message is for you. Hit that like button to amplify this energy, subscribe if your silence has ever spoken louder than their noise, and drop 77 in the comments if you've ever had people fear what you didn't say out loud. That's power. And if you feel called, support with a super thanks. It helps push this truth further than their lies ever could. And now, let's break this down step by step. Stay locked in, because if you really are one of the chosen, you'll feel it in your bones. These aren't just signs. These are confirmations. Regular people won't relate. But you will, because only the chosen know what it's like to see everything and say nothing. Let's get into it. Number 1. They lit a match, not knowing you were the whole wildfire. They were throwing shade at a mirror and got burned by their own reflection. Don't mistake my silence for surrender. It's just me watching you load the bullets that always come back around. My dear chosen ones. They thought they were slick, didn't they? Smiling in your face, stabbing you in the back, convinced you were too naive to catch on. But here's what they never saw coming. The one they overlooked was the one with the blueprint. You didn't walk into the room seeking attention, yet the air shifted. You didn't say a word, and still their lies started shaking. That's the weight you carry. That's the power of someone who knows more than they ever let on. You didn't play dumb, you played still. Still like a lake that hides a storm beneath. Still like silence before everything breaks. While they were laughing behind closed doors, you were studying the pattern. While they were making noise, you were memorizing every fake smile, every backhanded compliment, every room they kept you out of. Not paranoid, aware. And now that awareness, it's got them scrambling, because the same quiet one they mocked is now the one they can't stop talking about. Let's be real. They weren't just underestimating you. They were trying to erase you, downplay you, gaslight you into second-guessing your own instincts. But you, chosen one, you took every bit of their shade and built a map with it. You made their doubts your fuel. You let them think they were winning, just long enough to show them what losing to someone who sees everything really feels like. Now they're pacing, watching you from fake accounts, bringing your name up in rooms you haven't stepped in for years. Why? Because you didn't react. You evolved. You didn't argue. You outgrew. They can't keep up, and they can't explain it. And that, chosen one, is why your silence is louder than their screams. You see, they thought they were peeling away your power, but all they did was strip off their own masks. You didn't destroy them, their own reflection did. You didn't lift a hand. Your calm was the confrontation. And now the same ones who said you were too sensitive, too paranoid, too quiet, are the ones whispering behind closed doors. Be careful. They know too much. You do. You always did. You didn't need proof. You were the proof. You didn't need to expose them. They exposed themselves trying to provoke you. And the beauty of it all, you're still not angry. You're still not looking for revenge. You're just glowing, moving, growing. And that, more than anything, is what breaks them. So yes, let them stare. Let them wonder how you knew. Let them panic about what else you might know but haven't said. Let them drown in their own guilt while you move like the tide, quiet, constant, untouchable. Chosen ones don't play by their rules. We are the rule book. You don't follow their timing, you bend the clock. You don't need their spotlight. You are the glow they can't replicate. They thought they were fighting you, but now they know. They were battling a force they never stood a chance against. So stand tall, keep walking heavy, smile when they flinch. Because now, chosen one, they know what you've always known. You were never just in the room. You were the room. Number 2. It wasn't luck. It was precision. You were built for perfect timing. They call it luck. You call it pattern recognition. They said it was a coincidence. Funny how coincidence keeps happening every time you show up. My dear chosen ones, they keep saying it's luck, don't they? Like you just happened to be in the right place at the right time. As if you stumbled into alignment. As if your every move, every instinct, every perfectly timed exit was just a happy accident. Let them talk. It's the only thing they have left. Because deep down, even they know. This isn't chance. This is precision. This is what it looks like when someone's path is clear while everyone else is running in circles. They pretend they're not watching, but the truth? They're glued to your every move, copying your rhythm, mimicking your decisions, trying to duplicate results they never earned. They see how the pieces fall into place for you and call it magic. No, this is not magic. It's mastery. It's what happens when a chosen one moves in alignment with something deeper, something sharp, silent and surgical. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange protection, that last second save, the relationship you walked away from before it blew up, the missed call that turned out to be a blessing, the job you didn't get that would have trapped you. You didn't always understand why it happened, but later, it made perfect sense. They wanted to call it gut feeling. But it's more than that. It's an internal GPS, guiding you out of the traps they built. It's the way you move before the masks fall, the way you sense the room before a word is spoken. That's not something you can fake. That's what makes them afraid. You're not just ahead, you are the curve. They need charts, you need silence, they need data, you need a moment of stillness. That's the difference. You don't predict the shift, you feel it. You don't shout about what you're doing, you just do it. And now they're scrambling, trying to reverse engineer your glow without carrying your scars. Stop calling it luck. You earned this. You listened when it was quiet. You walked away without needing a round of applause. You trusted your own signal when everyone else was waiting for someone else's permission. And that's why they can't stop watching. You don't move with the crowd, you move with clarity, and when chosen ones walk in alignment, the world doesn't just notice, it follows. Number 3, factorial, they whisper now, because you see what they desperately hide. They whisper, because you see in the dark, with your eyes closed. You didn't expose them. They exposed themselves, trying to hide from someone who never needed proof. My dear chosen ones, let's call it what it is. They're not whispering because you did anything. They're whispering because you didn't. You didn't lash out. You didn't accuse. You didn't point fingers. And yet, they still feel seen. And that's what terrifies them. Because your silence has never been empty. It's always been loaded with truth. You walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts. Not because you speak, but because your presence makes lies feel naked. You don't need confessions. You read tension. You don't need proof. You feel the fracture in their energy before the cracks even form. That's not guessing. That's knowing. A kind of knowing they'll never understand because it can't be taught. It can't be Googled. It can't be copied. It's felt. And lately, they've been watching you different. They move a little slower around you. Their words are extra careful. Some avoid you altogether. Not because you said anything, but because your very existence threatens the fake world they've built. You're the mirror they didn't ask for, but now can't escape. They thought they could outsmart you, bury their envy deep enough, hide their intentions in plain sight. But chosen one, your vision goes deeper than their masks can reach. While they were busy crafting personas, you were reading vibrations. While they were loud with distractions, you were silently scanning patterns. You didn't choose this lens, but you've always had it. The difference now? It's sharper, louder, undeniable, and it's making them panic. You ever wonder why people start explaining themselves when you haven't even asked a question? That's guilt. That's energy reacting to clarity. That's your presence reminding them of what they tried to suppress. They whisper because they know you could destroy them with one sentence. But you won't. Because that's not your style. You don't destroy, you expose. You don't confront, you reveal. Without saying a word. And now, chosen one, here's what you need to hear. Don't shrink that sight. Don't dim that clarity. Don't numb that knowing to make others feel comfortable in their deception. You weren't built for illusions. You were born for clarity, for truth, for exposing what can't survive the light. You're not dangerous because you're violent. You're dangerous because you're right. And that's what they can't handle. Number 4, factorial. You didn't raise your voice. You raised the frequency. You spoke without speaking, and it shook their entire foundation. Some people yell to be feared. The chosen just exist, and the room goes silent. My dear chosen ones, you didn't have to say a word, and still, they heard you louder than any scream. That's the kind of power you walk with. Unspoken, unshaken, undeniable. They screamed to be seen. You simply showed up, and that's what broke them. They tried to twist your silence into weakness, tried to make others believe you were lost, confused, or unsure. But all along, you were tuned in, still, calm, dangerous in your stillness. They thought you didn't know, but you always did, and now that truth is catching up. You were loud without a sound, a mirror, not a microphone. And when your silence met their secrets, the reflection was too much to handle. You didn't confront them, you outlasted them. While they were manipulating narratives and rewriting stories to cover their tracks, you stood grounded, composed, and that unnerved them more than any argument ever could. Because chosen ones don't perform, we observe. We don't beg to be heard, our presence is the statement. They fumble around you now, don't they? Awkward smiles, nervous chatter, eyes that won't meet yours. That's not politeness, that's panic. It's guilt leaking through their posture because they know you saw what they hoped no one would. They know you felt the energy shift long before the masks dropped, and that's why they're scared. Because you haven't said a thing, and they're still shaken. You didn't rise through revenge, you rose through restraint. You didn't clap back, you climbed, and they hate that. They hate how after everything they did, you still have your peace. That your silence didn't mean submission, it meant strength. That your grace wasn't weakness, it was proof that not everything sacred needs to be shouted. And now, they're haunted by your stillness, replaying old conversations, questioning how long you knew, wondering what you'll do next. But here's the truth. You don't need to do anything. Life is already handling the rest. The lies are crumbling under the weight of your truth, and they're scrambling to rewrite a story you already outgrew. So, my chosen one, if you've ever felt like being silent made you look small, think again. Explosions may be loud, but earthquakes reshape everything. And you were the quake. Keep moving in grace. Keep letting your energy speak. Because you didn't break them with volume. You broke them with truth they could feel, but never outrun. Number 5. Factorial. While they drowned in chaos, you became the tide. They couldn't stop. While they drowned in chaos, you moved like the tide that couldn't be stopped. They expected you to panic like them, but your silence screamed louder than their fear ever could. My dear chosen ones, let's get one thing straight. They were counting on your collapse. They saw the pressure building, the world shifting, everything around you crumbling, and they smiled. Because they thought this would be the moment you finally cracked, that you drop down to their level, where panic runs wild and confusion is the currency. But you didn't flinch, you didn't beg, you didn't fold, you moved like the tide. Quiet, inevitable, unstoppable. While they scrambled for answers, throwing solutions at problems they created, you stood still, focused, collected. That calm wasn't weakness, it was power. Real power, the kind that doesn't shout or shake, the kind that sits still while the world spins, knowing exactly when to move. And that's what wrecked them. They couldn't understand how you weren't crumbling, so they whispered, "They must know something we don't. They're probably just lucky." But we both know the truth. You're not operating off some secret intel. You're not guessing your way through life. You are the source, the compass, the clarity. And what you carry inside, it can't be mimicked, bought or faked. They chase control. You flow. They react. You respond. They survive. You command. There was a time you hid this. You bit your tongue. You dimmed your light just to make them feel comfortable. You laughed off your instincts. You pretended to second-guess what you knew deep down was solid. But something shifted, didn't it? The volume got turned up on your vision. Your inner knowing refused to be ignored. You stopped asking for signs because you became the sign. And now, your calm isn't just stillness. It's a message. It's a presence. It says, without saying a word, I know exactly who I am. Even when the outcome's unclear, your spirit isn't. That kind of self-trust. It rattles people. It exposes their own instability. They flinch at the wind. You move like the ocean, deep, measured, uncontainable. And no one taught you that. You were born with it. So keep walking with that eerie composure. Keep flowing through the noise. Let your calm be the storm they never saw coming. Because they're watching you. And no matter how much they pretend not to, they feel that you're not lucky. You're aligned. You're silent. You're unshaken. And chosen one. That's not peace. That's power. Number 6. Factorial. They studied your every move, still couldn't decode the unteachable. You can't steal the code when the code is written in scars you've never earned. My dear chosen ones, they watched you rise like it was sudden, like it came out of nowhere, like you woke up one day glowing with a power they couldn't explain. But what they're calling magic was actually discipline, wrapped in silence, built in solitude, and sharpened in moments they'll never understand. They stared, they studied, they analyzed your every move like it held some secret formula, but they still can't crack it, because you are the code, and what you carry can't be downloaded, bought, copied, or cloned. They thought they had you figured out when you were quiet, boxed you up, labeled you average, told themselves you were just another face in the crowd. That's what they do when they can't read you. They reduce you. But now, their eyes are wide, their jaws are locked, and they're scrambling for explanations. How did this happen? Where did that come from? Have they always been this powerful? Yes, you have. You just stopped hiding. While they were talking, you were transforming. While they were posting, you were practicing. They laughed while you healed. They gossiped while you built. And now that your light is breaking through the cracks they tried to seal, they're panicking because they realize you were never just a moment. You were the movement. They think they can replicate your glow without enduring your darkness. But what they see now, that came from nights when you clapped for yourself because no one else would. From mornings you showed up, even when everything in you wanted to disappear. From battles that broke you, then rebuilt you brick by brick. And here's what truly breaks them. They mocked your silence. Now they study your words like scripture. They dismissed your presence. Now they can't look away. They tried to write you off. Now they're tracing every post, every quote, every breath, hoping to find the secret you never spoke. But here's the truth. You don't owe them anything. What you've become can't be simplified into a tutorial or a trend. This wasn't luck. This was earned. With fire, with grace, with audacity. So don't shrink. Don't soften your edge to make it digestible. You weren't made to be understood by people still asleep. You were made to awaken the ones ready to rise. They'll keep watching. They'll keep guessing. But they'll never get it. Because they weren't built for it. You were. Number 7, factorial. They labeled you. Quiet, not realizing you were downloading everything. They called you quiet, but you were really tuning into everything they tried to hide. They thought you were zoning out, but you were zoning in, watching the whole story unfold without a single word. My dear chosen ones. They thought they had you figured out. Just another quiet one, just someone who keeps to themselves. Maybe shy, maybe soft. They whispered, "She's distant. He's reserved," like that was the whole truth. But what they never realized is, while they were talking, you were listening. While they were projecting noise, you were decoding signals. See, they thought silence meant nothing. But for a chosen one, silence is everything. It's data, it's clarity, it's protection. You were never detached. You were tuned in, tapping into frequencies they can't even hear. While they mistook your calm for cluelessness, you were reading posture, tone shifts, eye flickers, energy leaks. You were downloading it all. And now that you've started speaking less and moving differently, they're starting to feel it. They don't know why they edit themselves around you, why their voice lowers when you walk into the room, why they suddenly start explaining things that don't need explanations. But you do. You already know. Your silence is not empty. It's loaded. You're not psychic. You're perceptive. You don't guess. You feel. You don't need receipts. The truth slips out just by standing next to you. You say things they were scared to even think out loud, ask questions they thought they buried, and when you speak, it's like the words came straight from their locked thoughts. That's why they can't shake you. That's why they remember what you said, long after they forget everyone else. You don't talk to be heard, you talk when it's time. And that timing cuts straight through the fog. Let them wonder. Let them circle around your silence, trying to decode you. Some want to learn from you, others just want to get close to feel your calm. But most are terrified that you'll turn your full focus on them, because if you ever did, they know you'd see everything. But chosen one, you're not here to expose, you're not here to flex, you're not here to play God in someone else's unraveling. You are here to mirror what's possible. You are here to show what happens when someone chooses observation over chaos, truth over ego, power over noise. And the wildest part? You never even raised your voice. Because when you're tuned in that deep, you don't need to speak to be unforgettable. Number 8. Factorial. You didn't vanish, you rose so high. Their noise couldn't reach you. You didn't ghost them, you grew past their frequency. They couldn't silence you, so they convinced themselves you disappeared. Truth is, you just got too loud for their low signal. My dear chosen ones, you didn't go missing. You didn't vanish. You didn't fall off. You simply elevated so high, they can't hear you from where they're still standing. And now they're panicking. You see, the version of you they thought they had locked down, that version doesn't exist anymore. They built their perception of you on old data, outdated snapshots, fragments of who you used to be. But while they were busy gossiping, clinging to their labels and low-level drama, you were evolving, silently, steadily, and without needing anyone's permission. They think you stopped showing up. What really happened? You stopped dimming your light for rooms that couldn't handle your brightness. You stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. And you stopped performing for crowds that were never qualified to witness your truth in the first place. Now, your silence speaks louder than anything they've got to say. It rattles their ego. It disrupts their gossip. It makes their lies feel smaller. Because in a world addicted to noise, the one who moves in mystery becomes the biggest threat. Let them whisper. Let them wonder how you keep getting better when they swore you were done. Let them write you off in one breath and study your every move in the next. They're watching you shapeshift in real time, and it's driving them mad, because every time they think they've figured you out, you've already leveled up again. They don't know how to process it, so they make up stories. She must have gotten lucky. He probably joined some secret group. It's a phase. They'll come back down. Number. You won't, because you didn't rise by accident. You rose by alignment. You built in silence. You healed in solitude. You got uncomfortable with comfort and traded small talk for deep transformation. And now you're magnetic. Not for attention, but for truth. People feel you without knowing why. They sense something ancient, something unexplainable. You don't announce your elevation, you embody it. And yes, they talk. Because asking you how you did it would mean admitting they're still stuck in the noise you escaped from. But their soul knows. That's why they can't look away. You didn't disappear. You just got out of reach. And now, you're unforgettable. Number 9. Factorial. You didn't clap back. You elevated in silence while they fell apart. You didn't clap back. You just disappeared into levels they'll never reach. I didn't argue. I upgraded. I let my progress say everything I never needed to explain. My dear chosen ones, let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them throw their little jabs from across the room or behind anonymous accounts. They wanted a reaction. But what they got was silence. And that silence, that's what's destroying them more than any response ever could. You see, they came with chaos, with lies, with drama. They poked, they provoked, they pushed every button trying to drag you down into the mess with them. But you didn't flinch. You didn't take the bait. You didn't lower your frequency to match their noise. You elevated. And now, as they sit in the same cycle they tried to pull you into, you're somewhere they never expected, rising, quietly, steadily, powerfully, not to prove a point, not for attention, just because that's what chosen ones do when the room turns cold. They don't fight for space. They build new rooms. They thought you'd snap. They thought you'd crumble. They waited for the meltdown that never came. But what happened instead? You glowed up. You stepped back. You moved on. And suddenly, their whole identity, built around provoking you, started falling apart without you in the script. And now they're left with whispers and regrets, because you didn't just ignore them, you outgrew them. Chosen one, this is your power. Your silence isn't weakness. It's a strategy. It's clarity. It's knowing your time, your peace, your growth. It's not worth throwing into the fire just to prove a point to people who already know they lost you. They don't miss your presence. They miss the access to your energy. That's why they talk. That's why they spiral. That's why your name still lingers in places you've long outgrown. So no, you didn't clap back. You let your growth speak for you. You let your peace disrupt their patterns. You let your elevation echo through every room they once thought they had control over. And that's the loudest clap of all. Number 10, factorial. Your energy walks in before you do, and it shifts the entire atmosphere. Your energy walks in before you do, and it shifts the entire atmosphere. They feel you before they see you, and by the time you speak, it's already too late to lie. My dear chosen ones, let's make one thing clear. You don't need to enter loud to leave an impact. Your energy arrives before your footsteps. It speaks before your mouth opens. And by the time they even notice the shift in the air, the truth has already started exposing itself. That's the kind of presence you carry. Not forced, not rehearsed, just real. And it shakes people to their core. You don't have to say anything. That's what makes it so uncomfortable for them. You can sit in silence and still feel like a full-blown interrogation. You can nod politely, and it'll still feel like you're seeing straight through them. You don't ask for the room to respect you. The room adjusts itself around you, and that, chosen one, is something they've never been able to explain or replicate. They try to label it intimidation. What they're really feeling is exposure. You see, your energy isn't threatening, it's revealing. And when people are hiding things, truth feels like an attack. That's why they stutter. That's why they avoid eye contact. That's why the vibe shifts the moment you walk in. You don't try to reveal what's fake. You just exist, and the fake starts falling apart on its own. And yes, they talk about you. They say you're too intense, too much, too aware. But what they're really saying is, they make me feel seen, and I don't like it. Because your presence, it demands truth, it shakes illusions, it makes people reflect whether they're ready or not. That's why they avoid you, but still keep watching. That's why they try to discredit you, but still quote your words later. That's why they act different around you, not because you said something wrong, but because your energy reminded them of something right. And when you're that real, you become unforgettable, even to people who tried to forget you. So don't ever dull your energy to make others more comfortable. Don't shrink your presence to fit their fear. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to shift the atmosphere just by standing in it. And guess what? You're doing exactly that. Number 11, they tried to bury you, not knowing you were the ground. they stood on. They tried to bury you. Not knowing you were the ground, they stood on. They threw dirt on your name, forgetting you were the soil where pressure turns pain into power. My dear chosen ones. Let's talk about the ones who thought they had the final word on your story. The ones who tried to bury you under lies, shame, silence, and doubt, hoping no one would ever hear from you again. But here's what they didn't realize. You weren't being buried. You were being replanted. They thought they could smother your name, cover your truth, and water it with gossip until it rotted. But they forgot. You are the foundation. You're not just standing on solid ground. You are the ground, the one they leaned on when it was convenient, the one they dismissed when they couldn't control you. And now, they're standing on shaky soil, watching you rise from the very dirt they tried to toss over you. Every whisper behind your back, you heard it. Every fake smile, every sideways comment, every harmless rumor, it all hit you. But it didn't break you. It refined you. It built you in silence. While they were busy running their mouths, you were quietly rebuilding your power, brick by brick, moment by moment. And now they don't know what to do, because the story they wrote for you is falling apart. You were supposed to stay down. You were supposed to stay hidden. But you're here, louder in silence than they ever were in noise. They can't figure out how you're still glowing, still growing, still walking like none of it touched you. But it did, and you alchemized it. You turned pain into purpose, loss into laser focus, and isolation into your ignition. They called you too quiet. Now your presence echoes. They tried to erase you. Now your name circulates in rooms you've never entered. They hoped you'd stay in the shadows, but now you're the spotlight they can't avoid. So when they say you've changed, smile, because you have. You're no longer the version of you that tolerated being walked on. You are the ground now, and trust me, they feel the shift under their feet. They didn't just underestimate you, they stood on you. And now, chosen one, it's time they learn. The foundation doesn't fall. It makes everything else collapse. Number 12. They thought you were frozen, but you were the calm before their collapse. They thought you were stuck, but you were just loading the impact. Still water doesn't mean shallow water. It means you haven't seen the depth yet. My dear chosen ones. They mistook your pause for paralysis. They watched you in stillness, in solitude, and assumed you had lost momentum. That's how surface level their understanding was. They thought because you weren't clapping back, showing off, or playing their game, you must have been finished. But the truth? You were charging up. You were standing in your silence like it was armor, while they kept mistaking your peace for weakness. And now, that calm they laughed at is the very thing shaking their foundation. You see, chosen ones don't move on impulse. We don't scream to be seen. We calculate. We listen to the shift in energy before it becomes visible. They didn't know you were sitting in the eye of the storm, not because you were lost, but because you are the storm's center. And now, everything around them is collapsing, not because of revenge, but because their chaos finally caught up with them, and you're no longer cushioning the blow. They thought you were stuck in place, but really, you were reading the whole map. You knew the betrayal before it was admitted. You saw the sabotage forming before it took shape. You recognized the fakeness in their voice, the agenda in their compliments, the guilt in their silence. And still, you didn't move. Not out of fear, but out of foresight. You let the truth expose itself. That's what scares them now, because you never lifted a hand, and yet the fallout is here. They're spiraling while you're still centered. They're panicking while you're still focused. They're reacting while you're still watching. That's the power of restraint. That's the mark of someone who knows more than they let on. So if they're whispering now, let them. If they're avoiding eye contact, good. That means your energy still unsettles them. Not because you did anything loud, but because your silence held the weight of everything they tried to hide. Chosen one, you were never frozen. You were just letting their lies pile up. And now, they're crumbling under the weight of their own game. Number 13. You stopped shrinking, and that's when their fear finally spoke. You stopped shrinking, and that's when their fear started screaming. The moment you stopped dimming your light, they needed sunglasses, not because you changed, but because they never expected you to shine without their permission. My dear chosen ones, do you remember the day you finally said enough? The moment you stopped apologizing for being too intense, too intuitive, too much. That moment wasn't just a shift in your story. It was an earthquake in theirs. Because your power didn't suddenly appear, it was always there. You just stopped hiding it. And when you did, their fear started talking, loud. You didn't grow arrogant, you grew aware. You stopped over-explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you. You stopped making yourself smaller just to fit inside the boxes they built to control you. You stepped back into your full size, and it rattled them. Why? Because control only works when the target believes they're too small to break free. And you broke free. They called you humble when you were shrinking. They said you were easy to be around when you were silencing your intuition. But the moment you spoke less and moved sharper, they got nervous. Not because you hurt them, but because your energy started holding up a mirror. And what they saw staring back exposed everything they tried to bury. You didn't threaten them with noise. You shook them with clarity. You no longer needed their validation. You no longer asked for a seat. You built your own table, then decided who deserved to sit. And when you did, they panicked. Because nothing scares insecure people more than watching someone they underestimated rise, quietly, unapologetically, and without them. So let them call you distant. Let them say you changed. That's the sound of fear in disguise. Because here's the truth. You were never too much. You were just never meant to be less. And now that you've stepped into who you really are, the ones who once controlled the room can barely hold themselves together in yours. Keep rising, chosen one. You were never made to shrink. You were made to stand out and stand tall. Number 14. You're not a threat. You're the reminder of everything they could have been. You weren't the enemy. You were the mirror they couldn't handle. It's not your power that scares them. It's the reminder that they had the same and wasted it. My dear chosen ones, they never hated you. What they hated was what you reminded them of. You didn't threaten them with your words, your actions, or your presence. What really shook them was the silent echo of their own potential staring them in the face every time you walked in the room. You became the proof that effort, awareness, growth, evolution was always possible. And that truth? It broke them more than you ever could. You didn't flex. You didn't compete. You didn't even raise your voice. And yet, they felt the pressure rise every time your name was mentioned. Why? Because while they stalled, you advanced. While they blamed, you transformed. While they made excuses, you kept showing up, even with 1,000 silent battles behind your smile. They whisper about you now because you are what they ran from. You are the version of themselves they didn't have the courage to become. They had the same 24 hours, the same opportunities to heal, the same chance to grow. But instead of rising, they chose to stay bitter. Instead of reflecting, they chose to resent. And now, you're the walking reminder of what discipline, silence, and inner clarity really creates. Let's be clear. You're not here to compete with anyone. You're not here to prove anything. You're just existing in your truth. That's the part they can't take, because you don't want their spotlight, and that makes you shine even brighter. You don't need to be validated, and that makes your presence even louder. You don't move to impress. You move with intention, and that's what keeps them up at night. They tried to box you in, but you slipped through every label. They tried to outshine you, but your glow isn't artificial. It's earned. They tried to silence you, but your silence said more than their noise ever could. And now, every time they see you, they're not seeing a rival. They're seeing regret. So walk tall, chosen one. Don't carry their guilt. You were never the threat. You were just the reminder of everything they chose not to become. And so, chosen ones, now you understand why they watch, why they whisper, why your silence keeps them unsettled. You were never the threat. You were the truth they tried to avoid. You didn't just survive what broke others. You became the evidence that rising is real. So don't shrink, don't second guess, and never dim your knowing. They talk because they feel it. You know more than you let on. If this hit deep, like the video, subscribe for more, and drop 77 in the comments to show you're wide awake. Share this with another chosen one. It's time they remembered too.